Hello and welcome to my walkthrough, or explanation rather, of the Outlast Trials achievements. I say explanation because the achievements are rather peculiar in that they are badge based. These are challenges that are actually in the game in the sense that they are achievements for achieving things within certain trials. As you'll see here, I'm going through, there is actually a way to check this, and thankfully it does track, which will make it a lot easier to check on each one individually as well as keep up to date with it. There's kind of two areas that you'll need to know about once you've completed the tutorial, and that is the first one I'll show in a second, which is the area for your prescriptions. These are just a kind of fancy way of describing perks or abilities that will help you achieve the trials slightly easier. Now in just a second I will go over to the nurse and I'll kind of show off a couple of the tier 1s. The only one that I would say is particularly of note is the slide. Now, slide is important because it is the only ability that has a specific achievement tied to it. Now, the achievements themselves are all cumulative, and there is no achievements relating to the trial progression or the story relating to the trials, nor are there any difficulty-based achievements. Everything is cumulative. Now, the second one here I'll just show you are the rigs. Now, there are achievements specific to rigs, but not any specific type of rig. They are just for using them, recharging them, that sort of thing. Now, in a second I'll just go through those specifically. What I'll do is I'm going to demonstrate what each badge is, and I'll go through the order that the badges are presented, 1 through 27 or 28 depending on if you're on PlayStation. So the programs, these are the kind of story progression, but they're not particularly relating to the achievements, so let's get into the badges themselves. So first is for the Big Saver. This is just for collecting documents. Documents appear randomly. The only thing that is consistent is that they will always look like this blue folder with the confidential tag. Number 2 is Sleight of Hand. This is for unlocking containers. Any container can be locked and they will have this little kind of timed lock that you have to solve. You will just need a lockpick to open them. Then it's Mechanophiliac, which is for using your rig 100 times. As I said, there are different rigs, each has different recharge rates. However, 100 is not a lot of time, so you'll probably naturally get this throughout the course of playing the game. So now there's Together We Are Strong. You can see here there is each kind of co-op section will have areas where you are required to do a co-op action, meaning you require at least 2. I didn't find any more than 2, but it requires multiple people to do it. Usually it's interactables that are related to the story, or kind of the one at the start you saw there was bashing through something. Performing 50 of those will probably happen naturally if you're with a decent group. There is online matchmaking, could be inconsistent, but that's probably the best way to do it. Following on with Crowd Control, this is another co-op related achievement that is for kicking 50 enemies away from a co-op partner. Now this is usually when you get grabbed by someone or someone has in some way interacted with you that prevents you from moving. 6 is Hypochondriac. This is for consuming 200 medicine. Medicine, there is 2 types. Is these kind of vials that contain a liquid that will heal you. There is large and medium. Each will give you a different amount. Then there's Sawbones. This is for reviving co-op partners. The description itself says help, but I didn't actually find any option for a way that was not specifically reviving that counted towards this. But when someone gets down, you can revive. Now it's Speed Freak. This is for using 50 adrenaline syringes. Unlike other interactables, you can use adrenaline syringes at any time. You don't need to be missing health or have a specific interaction. Number 9 is Breathe In, and this is for using 100 antidotes. For this you're required to at least be missing some part of your psych, which is your green bar, and you can recover. Number 10 is Power Surge, which is for using 100 batteries. Batteries are used to recharge your night vision light. This will deplete, and you can see by the bar at the top whilst using it what level it's at. Bullseye and Major League Player are achievements for using throwables. Bullseye is headshots, and throwables is just hitting enemies. Bamboozler, this is specifically using throwables to distract enemies, not hit them. As long as they gain their attention from the item that's thrown, that will count towards the achievement. Chicken in a Pot, this is just use hiding spots. You can't use the same hiding spot within the same trial, however you can use every hiding spot as many times in one trial. Disarming trap, door traps. Now this is specifically door traps. There are several traps throughout the game, but door traps are these that have the kind of electric mechanical spike. You can crouch to prevent them from hitting you and go through the other side, interacting with the battery to actively disarm them. Number 16 is anger issues, and this is for breaking locked doors, 50 in total. A locked door is a door that has a deadbolt at the top that has been locked in place. Now, there are certain doors that can also be locked that prevent you going through and you can bash. Sadly, those do not count. You can farm these by manually locking doors and then going to the other side to kick them, as shown here. Number 17 and 18 is Glutton for therapy and Toastmaster. Glutton for therapy is just completing 25 trials, and then Toastmaster is using the recharges, as shown here. 19 and 20 is Tapetum, Lucidum, and that is Vision Quest as well. Now, both of these are quite long cumulative. So for Vision Quest, obviously it's being in full psychosis, meaning you have no green bar, which is your psych level left, and then using night vision for an hour total. These will probably happen naturally, but if not, I'll go through at the end how to kind of farm them. 21 is Get Down, and this is for being knocked over. There's several ways to be knocked over, but the easiest and most farmable is from enemies in hiding spots who attack. Now, the last 6 achievements I've put here together cumulatively, as essentially there's no real great way to demonstrate them on screen, and they're just large number cumulative ones. 22 is Hemophiliac, that's just for losing 10,000 points of health. 23 is Hoarder, this is for collecting 1,000 items. Any shiny item you can collect is an item. Slip and Sliders, just for sliding around for 120 seconds. Marathoner for sprinting. Hunchback for crouching. And Can't Touch This is the difficult one for completing 10 challenges, taking no damage. So now onto the kind of overall tips and trips of how to get this. The main difficult ones are going to be the ones relating to trial specifics, so completing 25 trials. You can complete the same trial multiple times and it count towards this. And taking no damage refers to all damage, so if you get hit by a trap or there's any kind of lingering effect that causes damage, that will unfortunately count. In the description I'll link several kind of more broad guides that refer to specific trial benefits that explain this in deeper detail, but the rest will be mostly talking about the ability to do the more cumulative stuff in easier ways. Now, one thing that is incredibly handy to know, if you are going for a specific thing that you have, maybe you have sprinting for an hour left or night vision left, if you do that in a trial, you do not have to finish the trial for it to track or be added or complete. You simply need to use the option to leave the trial and it will add the additional progress or complete it if you've got enough to do so. Now, in terms of what programs are best, there is 4 main core programs. Each has slightly different kind of environments and effects that come with that. There are benefits to each and there is going to be preferences. Which is best to do for completing them or doing them without damage is up to you. I will link in the description some of the things that I found for kind of speedruns or tips to avoid it. However, what is going to be best for you is probably going to be a case of finding out yourself, so I would just try that. Make sure you at least unlock all of the 4 core ones so you at least have an idea of what's best for you. The footage here is actually demonstrating me in the orphanage. This is what I personally found was the best, as I would most consistently find ways to unlock the cumulative achievements. I would find things to throw, I'd find antidotes, I'd find healing, lockpicks, etc. Now, as for farming things specifically, one of the ones that is probably the lengthier ones that you are actually able to farm properly is the knockdowns. You can chase around a inmate who will hide in specific locations and force them to lock you down repeatedly. If you had enough patience, in theory, you could get all 50 in the space of about an hour just chasing them around. I do demonstrate that at some point in the footage, so that's there if you do want to use that as a guide. As for the rest, the throwables achievement, the best advice I can give for that is use bricks. Bricks you can actually re-pick up once they hit someone, unlike glass bottles or other throwables. Rigs obviously have a cooldown time, so although they count as throwable, they're not a very efficient one. It's better to use those for the rig cumulative achievements. Now, for the health achievement, so this is losing 10,000 points. Losing health is not difficult. You can just stand by an enemy and they will attack you. The difficult part is regaining or maintaining health. Now, there is a health rig. This heals you essentially on cooldown, or with the ability that it's kind of a gas mask or a gas area that heals you. You can use that to replenish, and you could in theory just continuously farm that over and over again. As for the remainder, there is no real benefit or no real specific location, trial, or event that is going to help you other than kind of personal preference, knowing map locations, things like that. As each time you load into the trial, even if it is the same trial, the locations of items, the traps, the enemy spawns, things like that will all be different. The only thing that is going to be consistent is the objectives, assuming obviously you've chosen the same ones, and the routes that you're going to have to follow. The maps themselves change minorly, but only in terms of what doors are locked, what breakables are in what locations. It will still have the same foundations. Now, in terms of the quickest way to do these, I would simply say play each of them for fun, if that's what you want to do. If not, if you're just interested in the achievements, I would just blast through the first 4 main missions, or the trials. Once you've done that, repeat the one that you thought was best. Use the kind of currencies you gain. There's 2 different currencies, but you can return to spend those on your rig and on your prescriptions to improve your abilities, and those will help you with things like night vision time, sprint time, and obviously making sure you've got the ability to slide to unlock that badge. Now, once you've got those, that will just naturally make it easier for you to complete the 10 trials with taking no damage and 25 trials total. Other than that, once you have, I think in total this completion is probably going to take about 25 to 30 hours. It's very difficult to give an accurate estimate because there's co-op, and co-op is such a massive unknown. You are not sure what other players. If you've got a group, I think you can probably get this very quickly. With co-op play with people who know what they're doing, there's speedruns sub 5 minutes for some trials. The achievement for staying in psychosis can be farmed on the orphan mission, as there is actually an enemy who will actively put you in psychosis with a kind of mist. You can just essentially get attacked by him, stay in the psychosis state, and then wait until it subsides and repeat. Also, as I've mentioned, the description will have several references to guides, written and video, and if there's any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. That's been my guide on Outlast Trials. Thanks for your time.